martial arts. I said it. Why? Don't know. But I'm just kidding with you. Martial arts. What an interesting, concept I'm talking about. In the world of martial arts, there are so many things to discuss, such as which is better, which is cooler, which is more practical. To me, no. The answer is what's the best way to cure my boredom if I keep staying in the house all the time because, I gotta do something in this place. I mean, I'm in this world for like, I don't know, my probabilities are probably like 60 years here for doing something. I gotta do something. And if you had questioned me that, then my answer is martial arts. Heck, I'm wearing a martial arts shirt. It's Taekwondo right there. Yes, I am a Taekwondo fanboy. Well, not fanboy. I guess I could say enthusiast. I am a black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm pretty proud of it. But that is a separate video because video I'm talking about right now is Kendo, the art of the sword. Not this sword, sorry, there's no eco wrapping, it's just for now. But this sword, the Shinai. Now, to understand and to explain my whole journey from, Kendo, I need to explain what Kendo is to you. Kendo, Ken means, sword, and Do is way. Do is literally the way or the fashion of martial arts. Now I'm gonna do a lot of editing here. Well, not really editing. I'm just gonna use the edit through my photo apps. Just some words here so you can understand. So Do and Jutsu are two different ways. Jutsu is techniques and Do is way. So I will not tell you what the whole Do and Jutsu difference is. I'm just going to explain Kendo. So history of Kendo. Short story is after the Sengoku Jidai and we all moved to the Edo period, which is the most peaceful era, I guess, during Japan. They needed to find a better way to, hit each other without hitting each other. I need to go fight someone, but I can't, by killing. And also techniques of swordsmanship need to be harnessed and somehow, so they created Kendo, wearing through Bogu armor and through using Bogu armor with men kotedos. You've probably seen it before. It's one of these people that wears the helmets and the sword things that are made out of bamboo, and they're all wearing black. Boom. History over. Now, I guess I could tell you about how it did change. And there's a video about history of Kendo that probably explains a lot. So go watch that. Don't look at me for history classes. I'm not your history teacher and all that. I'm not a professor who studies the way of the blade. I am not that. I'm just here to explain my experiences and what brings you Kendo to me and how did it change. I wouldn't say change a lot about me, but it changed a few parts of me. Sorry, my gosh, I think I just realized something. I don't know how to put this out, so I'm just gonna edit a few things in here, or I'm just gonna do the usual, show my phone here. So at the beginning, I never really wanted to do this. I'm just kidding, I really wanted to do this. I know this information since I was going somewhere, and someone had mentioned me, hey, do you want to do Kendo? And he said yes. He told me about this location, and he showed me this. I got into my first day, and it was amazing. I get to see the master, also mostly just the regular students, the senpais, that's what you call them. And most of the Kendoka, or Kendo students, were majority of the majors in the Japanese language. Now, for those who want to learn, I'll get to tell you in the beginning, if you don't find this boring, then congratulations. You will find some things boring, such as it's basically doing the same ways how to hit Shinai and how to use. Mostly you will start by using your feet. I did training with my feet for almost a month, and once I have completed using my ashi, which means feet, I was able to hold a Shinai. But before that, I was holding a boken because that was the basic of the premises of Kendo, which you have to learn baby steps by baby steps. The reason why it is to perfect everything. You start from your ashi, and then you can learn with kumikomi, and then you hold a boken for your kamae, and then you go to the shinai, and then you do every hits you can. Fun fact, and if you don't know it, in Kendo you hold the blade like this. Unlike regular katanas, you hold it from in the top here, and then count 2 fingers down, and then hold like this. The reason why they hold it from here and then in here, make sure they don't see. I don't know, maybe likewise the physics of what they can do. Now, training. It is painful. Not painful because you will get hit in the head with that. We'll get to that later. But because of blisters and mostly, yeah, just blisters. I got blisters in the beginning of training when I was holding the shinai and while I was, perfecting my ashi. Everything hurts from the bottom here, which is pretty, painful to me. Well, it doesn't matter because no matter what I do, I want to do this 100% and I really want to do this. So I dedicate myself and, live through the pain. I met some beautiful and, amazing people there, including most importantly, I made a best friend there. And my senpai is one of the most wisest people there I know. Sorry, it's a bit blurry. I couldn't show you a lot because, I don't know how to edit or anything. And some of them were really funny, really educated, and really wise. They taught me a lot of things, not just about Kendo, but mostly about like regular stuff, what they do on a daily basis, what do they do for fun, or what can you what brings me, what do they need to know about what I do, or basic stuff like what's your favorite Genshin player. I answered no, I don't play Genshin. Things were getting pretty well and everything was doing okay until then the seniors would stop training because they do have some college things to do, and I have no problem with that. Well, though actually most people would like to train Kendo because when they're crowded or when there's a lot of people, which makes it more fun. My senpai told me that, and he was kind of right. I've gotten involved in Kendo so much that I was there to represent the sport. We were there at a college representing our the Kendo, the Team Kendo Medan, and this was before the tournament, and this was me actually in 3 months. And the reason there is to us to get real find students or people who are interested in the martial arts, and thank goodness we did. Now I'm here to talk about the demographics and who will be into Kendo. The majority of these are weebs, people who like the culture, all that, and the super Japatophile, whatever, and sword enthusiasts or martial artists. It doesn't matter. They were all my friends and they were really great about it. And surprisingly, they have the same interests as mine. We had such a fun time there, explaining Kendo and the basics of Kendo to other people, and it was really great. But then it was my time to shine. Finally, after a few weeks, I've gotten into my first Bogu armor, and it wasn't heavy. At the beginning, I really thought this thing was pretty heavy because of the way I hold it, and it looks really uncomfortable. But then I realized, wearing the Bogu, it makes it more lighter than ever before. And the way how they train me with the Bogu is much more different the way they train me without it. Because the way how I was supposed to, how I was supposed to move, it is supposed to be the same way, but in a way, there's a lot difference because things are getting uncomfortable when you're wearing stuff for a sword fight. I wonder if this is how samurais do. Yeah, it even got me to the point that we even do another show or performance. We did a demonstration at another college, and I'm pretty sure that most of our students, probably 2 or 3 people, came from that college that was interested in joining us. We've met a lot of good people there that were really interested, but they were not really into a training because they have other, hobbies, or they were doing other things that were making them busy, and it was no problem. We just loved the interaction. And then on December 14th, it was my first ever tournament. Yep, I was in there doing battles. 1v1s actually. Now that was the semi-final match, and your boys made it to the finals, and spoiler alert, I won. Hooray! Now, the reason I'm not supposed to, gloat about that stuff, because in Kendo, there's also known as Zanshin, which means lack of awareness, and you're not supposed to gloat because, yep, I did it, I respect my enemy, and thank you for fighting. And it was great. I could have shown you some photos, but there were some technical difficulties. And that was my entire journey until now. So, how long have I been training? Let me do the calculations. Almost a year. I guess it's almost a year. I'm doing one more year. Now you might be wondering, how could you learn so fast and got onto to a tournament, and how did you manage to win less than a year? Well, the answer is I trained really hard. Also, this wasn't a super national tournament. This was more of a local tournament in the city with other dojos in the city. So it wasn't a big tournament at all. Also, I had a very good strat. English. I had a very good strat called keep moving forward, which is do not give the enemy time to breathe. Just keep hitting him until you're definitely gonna hit something, right? Whatever. Now that's my whole journey of Kendo. Now, what has it bring me? Well, it taught me many things. I was capable of violence, and I shouldn't be doing it. The second one is that I needed a lot of patience because most of the stuff that you're doing is basically doing the same technique but with just different moves. And there are many ways of how to do it. So I would be doing this 4,000 times or maybe even 500 times. I do this almost every day, every single day in the back. Why? Because repetition. The world of blue, I guess I do what I gotta do because mostly the training is from, it's only 2 days. But there's a tournament that is coming for a few days later, so we were training as hard as possible. So we're from 2 days to 4 days. And if it's not even possible, we'll just do it 3 days. My senpai also taught me so many things that why can I not hit? Why things are getting heavier? Because I was concentrating too much things that shouldn't be concentrating. Where I could be concentrating on a real purpose. And I think he was trying to say something like, if you just keep looking at your targets, you won't find your true goal. You can look at the targets as much as you want, but if you keep an eye on your goal, then you will definitely hit any target you want. I don't know. There was also another senpai that taught me something about what will you do? What will you be on the day? I think it was something like Japanese philosophical things. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him because I think it was pretty interesting. It also taught me to strengthen the things that you are on, not strength, such as mostly we do on the left leg, and the left hands are what we use for power instead of the right hand. And most importantly, power and control should be balanced. Power and control should work together. That's the point of Kendo. And to not be afraid and die with honor. That's what the Zanshin is. But Zanshin is basically when you hit, you need to feel 100% even though you don't. You have to be confident with your hits. So if you hit someone if you hit a men strike or a kote strike, you gotta make sure you go forward and don't look back. It's literally and he doesn't look back until you give a score. And no gloating. Keep Zanshin, which is keeping your attitude, or basically just be kind and saying thank you to the enemy if you could. Well, if he's not dead on the ground. And if things go unfair or things have gone too far, just remember it's only a sport. It's only a martial art. It's not just a martial art. It's more of a way of life. That's what every martial art say. It's a way of, but not just a way of life. It's also how to build character and then how you should put the emphasis on how you should put lessons in Kendo into real life lessons that you should, and how these lessons can you translate into real life to make sure that you can use it in society and through your families. I think which is one of the best things about Kendo because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of emphasis on patience, on most importantly about attitude, a way of how do you walk and how do you talk and how do you present yourself to the enemy. I think it's a great martial art. I will talk about my Taekwondo experience too. It's gonna be a pretty long video, not as much as Kendo. But all I can say is, if you want to go train Kendo, then you can. People say it's an expensive sport, but if you go to a dojo that doesn't require you to buy the armor or just learn how to strike or just get a piece of bamboo and just start learning the Kendo basics, and then you go to a dojo and then they'll start learning you the rest. It's fine. Do any martial art you can, because I wouldn't say this martial art is useless. It's a weapon against an empty hand. What do you expect? So yeah, that's basically it. If you want to try, go ahead. If there is a dojo near you, or you can just take online classes. I highly recommend that you don't get online classes, because the experience of and the relationships between the hahah and your senpai, it's more better than just the in the middle of the screen. So yeah, that's basically it. I wanted to make this video for one of the reasons, because I just like it, and also I think I'm gonna run out of room, and I might not do this video whatsoever, because there's some things I need to figure out. Anyways, yeah, that's basically about Kendo. You could go do it if there are any dojos near you.